Welcome everybody to the WBC Podcast, episode 2. We're going around the table. We got expert opinions combined with expert entertainment and definitely some interesting conversations. So welcome to the family. Appreciate y'all being here.
I can tell you this, Haas, Haas and Mac for sure. I've always, along with like some other people in our circle, but I've always had a deep respect for y'all two is just holding down marriage, family life, still handling y'all's business, and so
knowing what we was.
Yeah, right. Nah, I'm just saying. I know y'all brothers, man, and so to see when you talking about like when the time comes, this is where I believe that like where IG is talking about, because I think about it no more than like me and Mac being roommates and Talia being about to be born, and the time coming. I mean that's a traumatic situation.
No snooze, but
don't get, it's on, and so a decision had to be made, and then the decision is made, and so but it wasn't like before that motherfucker knew how we was living wasn't right all the way up until, but then something happened, and that's where I say like I think that the ultimate goal, because like we talking about like teaching like our players, or if you do like you got kids and whatnot, how do you leave that example for them?
There we go.
Because
I think that's two parts though.
Is effed up, because I always be careful with all examples having to be perfect, because I remember Leon McKenzie telling me some stories about how sometimes you try to do so many things right that you forget that some of the struggles that you had is what made you who you are. And so and then when you're trying to pass that on to your kid or to someone who you're trying to have, who you got to
perfect,
how sometimes they need to be able to connect to some of your struggles, because that is real. Because you can't really, it's hard to get away from that. I mean, we all, the whatever the life is, whether it's hanging out late, doing the thing, and then getting up the next morning if you're lucky, because that staying out all night is finna mess up that morning. It's nothing but choices. So, but we all is conscious of them, man, and that's why I always say like everything to me is on a 51-49, man. I mean that, because I don't think that like very seldom is it like just 100%, and then you able to actually put your actions to your damn words 100%. Very seldom, man. And then I think that the fact that people get so caught up in that, it leads to like embarrassment or self-embarrassment. So like if you're a former athlete, like I'm digging to myself, and I'm going like, so like some of the whys, like why don't I damn do it? And I know, you know what I'm saying? And like, so I'm like, myself, I got, I say time. That's one BS excuse. I could say
barriers.
Like I got a billion barriers, man. But I know that it ain't as easy as it once was. Because at one point when you're younger, it came a little easier. But that's a BS excuse. So I could come with all kind of stuff off the top, but what really the number one thing is when I think back on it is that never had a genuine connection. was just doing it. It was easy, or it was a coach telling me I had to do it, or something like that. And so like when you talking to like the kids that we work with or our kids or whatnot, I think like what IG said, what you doing is way more powerful than what you're saying in a lot of damn ways. And like I think about how many of my coaches was in tip-top shape.
Right.
No, that's why I'm saying it's,
I mean,
it's
how many
two
of my
parts,
coaches
man. It's
seriously,
two
man,
parts to it, I think.
All life. And
In
so,
terms of trying to move this forward, I think we all agree that we're in the pass it on phase. You know, we're in the phase of it's important for us to be able to give what we've learned and earned through these years on to the next generation. And the best way to do that is that's the second part, living in your own truth on and walking that walk, because whatever our message is, we could be absolutely correct in everything that we're saying, but the impact and the veracity that it is going to hit somebody with is going to be affected by what you're doing yourself and what you know you're able to display or let them observe. And that's why I say it's two parts to where, number one, our own journey, what the barriers are. And I always look back, even though we can't go back and do it again, like what would have took at those ages. And then we still got to live, we're here in this reality. So what is it now? What barriers, whether they're illusions or real, I mean, you know, why not? But then what are the barriers as we're passing it on? Or what's the most effective way as we're passing it on to get someone to get this level of understanding we're talking about, this higher vibration of what we're talking about at a younger age, at younger ages, because there's a reason why we didn't do it. And lastly, that's part of that programming. And that's why we have these urges to do, it's like the surface level of what they're presenting to us. That's part of the programming. Even chasing, even what we was doing on the island. I mean, it was programming to be in pursuit of girls on that level, you know, and that was in terms of programming for what we're eating and the food and what's presented as this is great, or this is exciting, or this is, you know, you don't like this. And that's what people are led in that direction. So what is it going to take for someone, as we're passing this on, to get that vibration at a younger age through the BS programming? You know what I mean? And that's why I say it's two parts.
On to that.
Absolutely.
First and foremost, everything starts in the home. Okay. But the moment we walk out the home, we are bombarded with information, with programming. From the moment we drop them off to school, to the commercials and everything that we see. So the way a human being learns is through what they see and what they hear and what they feel, the senses. Okay. But what you see first is the ultimate dictator of your reality, of your perception. So that's why visual is important. Now, if in order to get this implemented, instilled into the fabric of our youth, our generations at younger ages, these models, these principles have to be modeled at home, okay, by the authorities at home, okay, the mother, the father. The foundations like this, if we don't understand that and we don't see that, because we model what we see, when we follow suit with that which we are being programmed with first at home and then out in the world. So if the foundation at home ain't even stronger than the programming that's being put out in the world, it'll take a long time, if at ever. And if it's not coming from the home, like the mother, the father, see, I know this because now, after understanding and knowing and reflecting on my own personal situation, my father wasn't modeling these things. His concerns and things were about other things that I should know as in regard to being in this world, but not in regards to who I am, what I am, and what this shit really is. So if you can't get it at home, where you learn first, that's ground zero where you learn first. And then the parents let the kids out into the world and then they get influenced as they come back. Yeah. If you don't got that foundation there, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be something random, like, you know, maybe I need to be in the vibration already, and then I gotta wait for that right perfect thing to click the switch, and then I have to be ready to receive. It's so many factors. So us as men, Black men, melanated men, that's why it is important, okay? When I hear y'all talk and say about all the excuses and these and that, the things that people do or say as a means to not change, okay? But yet they don't understand the gravity that comes with that decision, as if they are responsible for carrying and raising of a young life. You are now going to perpetuate the same responses, the same habits, the same behaviors, okay, into that young generation, because you're gonna model the shit that you're asking questions about but ain't got to yet, and then they're gonna see and they're gonna go out and follow suit. So
same thing our parents did to us.
Well,
exactly.
Beyond
our is work.
How many of the kids?
And this is when I came to understanding, realization. That's another thing. I got angry. I got emotional because I felt like a small letdown. Nigga, my mom and my dad let me down, in a sense, as it pertains to being a Black melanated dude in this country, in this existence. All of this is so important. And if you ain't coming with none of that, but you got all the book smarts, everyone love you, you get this and that, and sports and accolades, man, that shit don't mean a goddamn thing. In the true essence of a Black man that'll go out in the streets and get murked, you know what I'm saying, just for being him.
But do you say that in all those situations,
are we gonna be parents that continue to perpetuate the same, or do we make the change? Because you have to be the change you want to see in the world, and you have to learn self so that you can draw strength from self, so you don't got to draw from no external Jesus or no spouse or no nothing.
Was like, there a part where you say that the parents did the best that they could?
More than anything, and I cannot fill your cup until I fill mine. If my cup is empty, if my cup is tainted, all I'm gonna do is fill you with the same juice, the taint that I got, or the same emptiness that I got. You see? So it is important for us to learn self. Very important, because none of us was taught that growing up. None of us. Listen up, listen up.